Shalom to the elect, giving all praise and honor and glory to you, how Bashem El Shai, Bashem El Hakodesh, and giving double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who well, peace and salutation to the elect. Shemi Al-Mahfaz and Mappa from the Great Millstone Plain Tables Camp of Philadelphia, coming with another wee lesson. This wee lesson just in the spirit, going on the current topic on my mind, which has been dealing with diet and health. Okay, of course, as you should know, diet, that's a lifestyle. Okay, so we'll start just there and establish that. Okay, so diet is just a lifestyle. Okay, it's a prescribed or pre-written way of life. Okay, originally the way of life. So somebody says that, they dieting. Well, this is your way of life. Okay, and such. And of course, it goes back from Dietian. All right, Dietian. Originally to separate or select food and drink. Okay, this apparently is frequentative dian which means to take apart. Dia is apart, and the ayin yastai means to take. So take apart. All right, and what you're doing with your life is basically just separating, selecting different things, right? You're either gonna put something in or you're gonna take things out. All right, but that's what ultimately your diet is. All right, it's an assembly. All right, they have it in the medieval Latin dietia. All right, so that's really that. Now you have it where it have it a customary way of eating, a course of food regulated by a physician or a medical rule, often restriction of certain foods, etc. Hence to put someone on a diet. Okay, but really it's just your way of life. You can have a shite diet, where you just eat, whatever particular items. You can have a good diet, that can be, of course, subjective, person to person, because everyone have their particular opinions about what's good and what's not. But as we do know, in Babylon the Great, all of the food has been compromised in some way, shape, or form, which has been biblical prophecy, and for our food to be defiled amongst the Gentiles, where we've been driven. Ezekiel 4, and as it says in 13, just reading it, and Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American, eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. Okay, and we've been driven all cardinal direction, north, south, east, west. Okay, we're all over the place. So we are eating our food with various impurities with it. It's impure. You have it, and you may eat an apple that fell on a side piece of pork shoulder, and then it rested in the back of a truck, and the truck got oil residue all over it. And then before you get it, you had somebody else handle it, and there's other factors that play that are invisible to us. Okay, but even the processing of different things, you don't even know whether something is genuinely what it is stated to be. Okay, so really we're going by faith. Okay, and just to give the advice out there is just do the best that you can do, in this situation of captivity. All right, Habakkuk chapter 2, it tells you, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. All right, Esau is not upright. Okay, it's clear. Okay, with the different practices he do. Okay, different regulations he set, as standard, and it's not ethically right. In many cases, but for him, virtue wise, for him, he would say it's totally fine. To have different um, amounts, of rat feces in something, to have different things that have been chemically manipulated somehow, genetically altered, etc. Okay, you even have it that he thinks that some of the things he created is better than real foods. When you go into the supplemental industry. Okay, now you have it here. This is off of a particular person who is going to talk about some of the vitamins, because a lot of people, they'll be deficient in various particular minerals and such, and they'll take these vitamins, but you don't particularly know about what these actually are, okay, and where they're coming from, or like what it is, and is it doing its purpose. But many people go into that. Now, you know, you could go into this, and that fair use warrant is only for educational purposes only, and I'm not a medical doctor or anything of that sort. Everyone has their particular prescribed diet, which they will do themselves. This is just information itself, okay? And you could check it out, but pretty much a lot of the different vita minis, all right, are produced synthetically, in China and such, and that's another science, that Esau push. Now you can go into this a little bit.
And in this video, I'm going to touch on vitamins. Not going in depth with it, just mentioning some points, because vitamins is one of those things that we're sold day in, day out. Sometimes people will tell you they have to get their vitamins in every day. They take multivitamin tablets because they're told that you need to take your vitamins are important, and so on. And Dr. Sebi was asked about vitamin, and Dr. Sebi said that vitamins was one of those terms that they created, much like protein or enzymes, and that minerals was the most important thing, and that we should focus on minerals because minerals was what the body needed, not isolated vitamins. And we'll see that there's vitamins. They tell us, okay, vitamin A, the B vitamins, vitamin C, which is probably, I would say, the most focused on these days because we're told that there is something called viruses, and vitamin C is very good at boosting the immune system to prevent this. And so, what you find is that as a result of that, many people focus on buying various vitamin supplements because they think that they're making themselves better, or they think that they're making their whole system stronger by consuming these vitamins. And some people are taking these vitamins daily, some people two, three times for the day because they believe that they're fortifying their system, they're making themselves more stronger, they're making themselves more immune to or less susceptible to any illnesses out there, and so they take them religiously. But the concept of vitamins is very misleading. The idea that we can consume something, isolated chemistry, as Dr. Sebi pointed out. And we have to keep in mind that before the 1900s, Nobody was talking about vitamins. We have to keep in mind that vitamins is a relatively new concept. So, and it wasn't until the 20th century that they found vitamin, quote unquote, and all of a sudden it's one of the most things that you need to survive. Something that your ancestors who used to live long lives, because that's one of the lies that we're told. One of the lies that we're told is that our predecessors lived shorter lives. That's one of the things that we're told, and that is not true. Where is the evidence for that?
Well, you do have, some of different individuals, in the scriptures that live, very very long lives. You go. So, let me see if I can get this. Um, Lord will. Um, let's just go back to the Old Testament. I would definitely believe. Yeah. So you have it. Where it says, um, like I know Methuselah lived very, very, very long. Um, and then you have it like here, all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. These are some of our different forefathers. All right, Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan. All right, or yeah, Cain 9. All right, and Enos lived after he begat Canaan or Cain at 9. Slakia 815 years and begat the sons and daughter, and all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. All right. Now you have it. And Canaan or Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mathael or Mahalalel, Adam, Sheth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, all right, and Lamech, all right. Well, Slock, man, because some of these, my fault. I just read select verses. Pardon me. Some of the verses were in chronological order from Genesis 5 and 9 to 12, but this is also off of this First Chronicles 1 through 3. Okay, so when you see, let me see. I was gonna look at something concerning Methuselah. Not what's that? 960 years Methuselah and died. All right. I believe when you look who's the oldest person in the Bible living, it says that, I believe. Okay. So that's there. Now the scriptures say 3 score. This is damn, I think it's in Psalms. I think like 70 or 71. You might see it. Score and 10. Yeah, Psalms 90 and 10. This is Psalms 90 and 10, which means it says the days of our years are 60 and 10, and by reason of strength they be fourscore years. Okay, which a score is 20 years. So you put 60 and 10. What's that? 80 or 60 and 10 is 70. Okay. Yeah, 73 score and team. All right. Shabayim. Okay. Which Shabai, I know, means 7. And Yum. And be in this case, it'd be like 70. Plural of 7. But yeah, this says, and if by reason of strength they be fourscore years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. So we don't have these long lives anymore. Okay, the scriptures also talk about how we're less in stature and such, as well. Okay, and how the earth is not yielding its strength, and obviously we do know too that the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Yahweh, through, of course, your son Yahweh Shai, and he formed man out of the dust. All right, that's Genesis 2, I think that is. Let me see if that's Genesis, the second chapter. Genesis 2, and I usually should know that, but yeah, this is Genesis 2 and 7, my fault. It says, in Yahweh power formed man out of the dust of the ground. All right, and out of the ground, of course, you have different minerals and such. Okay, and breathe into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord brought man out also the confusion. And Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai imparted wisdom unto the chosen man Adam. Okay, and through the Ruach HaKodesh, that Holy Spirit, we we're no longer as brutes out here. We actually have knowledge and wisdom and understanding, and we do go, and we discern. All right, so you could look into the like all these different sciences out here, but what matters is just the truth. Okay, and you have to do what's best for yourself. We do know that we came out of the waters of Judah. Most of us are made up of mostly water too. And you gotta hey, everything deals with minerals and such. But a lot of things are not really containing a lot of these good minerals and stuff, and the foods that we eat are deficient, and hey, we would have to look to medicine, um and such for Rapayim, all right, to heal ourselves and stuff, and I'm talking about the actual Ishabium or herbs, okay, even though that's not a science or a knowledge that's promoted. Again, this isn't medical information, but the scriptures do speak about how this is Genesis chapter 3 and 18. It says, thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee. Thou shalt eat of the herb of the field. Okay, and of course, when all thing went to shite, with Well, it's not the shape, but you have it with Adam hearkening onto his wife Eve. All right. And then, you know, that all of that fall, okay, that occurred. You know, we have these different curses and such. You know, and we have to depend on trying to get more nourishment out of the things we do eat, but a lot of these things are deficient. That's where that whole industry of what Esau done created, is where that plays in. But you have the Ishabium of the field of the world. All right, and it'd be good for Jake to take it. There's certain men such as a Dr. Sabi that looked into different things and such, and had a certain way of life, as a diet, and have certain benefits. So it's up to you, not to be ignorant of something small and great, but also it's important as the scriptures do tell us. Um, and it says that a cheerful and a good heart, Sirach chapter 30 and 25, a cheerful and a good heart will have care of his meat and diet, okay, his way of life, his diet, the things he eat and such. All right, so we have to be careful out here. That's what's most important. So I'll do maybe like an ongoing series on this, but that's just something I wanted to bring out. Y'all can look out for yourselves and such. Again, this ain't no medical information. You can do what you want. Do what your doctor say or whomever you do follow. But you have the knowledge out there and you can do your own research. So shalom to the elect.